going to Pakistan today and flying on PIA. Is it comfortable wearing something like this?
This is not comfortable.
It's funny, most people avoid flying PIA. What is this? I tried out this Pakistani omelets. I have a Krispy Kreme donut delivery to the crew. She has this Pakistani eyes and I have the Chinese eye.
Okay. PIA is the best airline. You're gonna see it's gonna be safe country and you can see our hospitality.
PIA has a glorious past, but unfortunately, and I would like to share very honestly, the political intervention in this organization for about 2 decades is we had lost merit-oriented decisions. We were also not taking commercial-based decisions. This was, I think, the worst challenge which I had to face, that the licenses which were being issued, they were suspected.
Hello sir, welcome aboard.
How are you?
Where's your seat number? This is 5A, please sir.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome, please.
Where are you going?
I'm going to
my
Pakistan.
country, Pakistan.
Pakistan.
You're gonna like which area?
Skardu.
Yeah, you just visit Skardu.
Skardu,
You're
yeah.
gonna like it.
This is the old business class. I remember I was here in 2014 from London to Karachi. Now they actually selling this as executive economy, which is the economy plus. They knew they can't compete with other airline their business class, so sell this as premium economy. And there's an upgrade. You can pay 150 dirham. It's about $40 to sit here. Is it comfortable wearing something like this to do your duty?
This is not comfortable.
Not comfortable, right?
No.
This feels like you're
But
going
this is
to
the-
swimming.
This is the requirement. This is necessary to wear. That's why we are wearing.
It feels like you're going for a swim or diving actually
Yes,
when I
it's
saw
like-
you.
We are offloading one passenger. He is no show at boarding gate.
I guess you shouldn't have any expectation when you fly PIA. I was expected a delayed flight, but looks like they're gonna make it on time today. There's just one no-show passenger. They're removing the bag and we're off to Islamabad.
So which you might have sir?
What do you have here? Orange
I
juice?
have apple juice, orange juice, mango juice and water.
Okay.
So this is orange juice.
I guess it's funny, most people avoid flying PIA, and as an AF geek, I chose to fly PIA to Pakistan. Reason also because they fly 777-200 LR on the schedule. The world liner, this airplane made a record, 22 hours 42 minutes in the air, non-stop from Hong Kong to London, but through the Pacific and the Atlantic in 2005, a world record. Can fly over 20 hours, depends on the payload on this airplane.
Check takeoff first.
just so beautiful. I think that's the prize when you wake up early for early flight. See a beautiful sunrise.
You wanna put this? Okay.
Hey, thank you. Really like that. That was a really cool personalized service, giving sanitizer to everybody.
Yeah, we are preparing for the breakfast service. We have the vegetarian and the Pakistani meal. In the Pakistani meal, we have the Pakistani omelette.
What is this?
Palak, it's spinach.
Spinach?
Yeah.
Oh, vegetarian.
Yeah, vegetarian with paratha.
Spinach with paratha.
Yeah.
This is Pakistani omelette. It looks like a normal omelette.
Yeah, but we call it Pakistani omelette.
Oh, okay. Oh, these
Thank
kids
you.
have instant noodle. That's
Yes.
a good breakfast.
Thanks. Sir, I have choice in breakfast and
Yeah, I'll take the Pakistani omelette.
Pakistani. Okay. So,
All right.
so in drinks, juice or drink?
I have some Fanta, Miranda.
Alright.
I tried out this Pakistani omelette, and really, to me, it's a plain omelette. It's very bland. The breakfast was pretty basic. It's the same food in executive economy and also the main economy.
What would you mind have some tea or coffee?
Yeah, have some tea, please.
Right. Oh, enjoy your tea, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. So today I brought some gift to all the crew, and hopefully we enjoy this with coffee and tea together. I'm going to surprise them. Hi, I have a Krispy Kreme donut delivery to the crew. Yeah, this is for you guys. Thank you so much for flying
Can I
us.
open it and see?
Sure, take a look. Pick a donut you like.
Oh my God, so
There you
nice.
go.
Thank you.
Yes, please enjoy, please.
Thank you
Please
very
enjoy.
much.
Thank you so much, Flying Lake. We are making tea with the donuts together now. What is it? Masala?
Masala tea.
Masala tea. Okay. It's
Blue tea.
Pakistani masala chai.
This is crew tea.
Oh, only cool drinks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm very lucky today.
Yeah.
you are.
This
Sir,
is-
have this one. And
Uh-huh.
maybe have a sip of this tea and just let me know.
Have a sip of tea. Tea and donuts
Ah,
time.
donut
okay.
Let me try the Pakistani,
Pakistani
masala
masala
chai.
tea.
The crew tea special.
Yeah, I can drink this all day long.
Okay.
What we need is adding some more boba and bubbles. Bubble teas. We have this funny thing going on. Like, she has this Pakistani eyes and I have the Chinese eye.
Okay.
And there's some benefit of Chinese eye because you don't get winkles.
Wrinkles, yeah.
With Pakistani eyes, I want because it's so much bigger.
Yeah, but we get wrinkles easily.
Oh, you need the skincare. You need the moisturizer. Did you get an upgrade, or how did you pay the?
I got the points, you know, if you are membership of PIA. So I use my points.
Ah, very smart. You're a very smart guy.
Yeah, that's what I like. PIA. PIA is the best airline. Yeah.
I like
Watching-
personality. I like characters. I
thank
like
you.
cultures. That's the difference.
Oh,
because
if you
I
like
love talking to people.
culture,
Yes.
personality, and if you like natural, then Pakistan is the best place in the world that you can find. That's all: tradition, culture, history, ruins, and food. Now you going which area?
I'm going to Islamabad and Skardu, the northern
Skardu, the
area.
north. Okay, that's the best place in the world. Skardu. Oh my God, snow, skate, you know, I love it.
I think you're a
And-
YouTuber. You have a YouTube channel.
Kind of. Many people want to come to Pakistan, but the thing in this mind coming, is it safe to go travel? But I just, my advice, is it safe? And sir, you're gonna see, it's gonna be safe country, and you can see our hospitality.
This is actually the first generation. I remember the first generation sky bed. You actually can go fully flat, but in a very slopey angle. You know, it's just really feels like going back time, like 15 years back when they have the first generation sky bed.
We flew through a bit of Iranian airspace after Oman airspace. It was UAE airspace, then Oman airspace, then a bit of Iran, and then into Pakistan. We're in the descent to Islamabad.
Pakistan 212, consolidation flight level 290.
Blacklist 290, Pakistan 210.
Well, that is Nangapur, the tall one, and it's the old mountain range coming up. Might be able, if you're lucky, you might be able to get a peek at Kabul, but that's further up.
Approaching minimums. Minimums.
Flying right now.
$100, 50, 30, 20, 10.
Just arrived at the new Islamabad airport. Very different to 9 years ago when I was in the old one, which is like a bus stop. And now the new one has all the modern structure, which an airport should be like. Very interesting. There's probably more bags than actually person. Maybe each person checked many bags, and lots and lots of bags come off the belt here. Very interesting. When you're in arrival, there are just hundreds and hundreds of people around, and to pick up their relatives. Must be very happy to see them returning to Pakistan. There are many advantages using a VPN. Personally, I use Surfshark VPN to bypass internet censorship, to find cheaper travel, and also to secure my data. Internet censorship can be a huge pain when you're traveling around to countries where social media like Facebook, YouTube, and Google Gmail has blocked. So I use Surfshark VPN to connect to another country to bypass that censorship. And even better, I can use Surfshark VPN to access to many more Netflix library with just one subscription. With the help of Surfshark VPN, there are also good possibility to find cheaper air tickets, cheaper hotel, and cheaper rental car by simply connect the VPN to another country. As a frequent traveler, I often use public Wi-Fi at the airport or in the hotel. These connections may not be secure when I want to send my sensitive credential data such as banking data, so I use Surfshark VPN to encrypt and secure my data. Now here's the best deal for my viewers today. Get Surfshark VPN at surfshark.com/Sam. Enter promo code SAM. You will not only get 83% off, but you will also get 4 additional months for free. This video is sponsored by Surfshark. So I met up with the CEO of PIA, Air Marshal Arshad Malik. We talked about lots of pressing issues at the company, such as the EU blacklist and also the credibility of the pilots. He's been very open and discussed all the challenges. Here's the interview.
The PIA has a glorious past, but unfortunately, and I would like to share very honestly, that because of various reasons, one of the very strong reasons was the political intervention in this organization for about 2 decades. So over a period of time, there were people who were getting stronger rather than the organization. The people started to merge together in associations and in unions, and they were trying to manipulate and they were trying to control the organizations. This was one major. The second was, over a period of time, because of these interventions, we had lost merit-oriented decisions. We were also not taking commercial-based decisions. We were being dictated upon. Now, once all this thing was going on, naturally, your performance indicators started to went down. 2019 was my first year. Despite all these odds, we organized ourselves, we managed ourselves, we orientated ourselves, also groomed ourselves into commercial aviation, and God was very kind. through the assistance of my team, which was all aligned, we were able to produce good results. And this was probably a year after very long, maybe 10 or 12 years, that we came into ops profit. But then very soon the next challenge came, the COVID. That was a time where aviation and the hospitality industries were the worst hit industries. We passed through that challenge also. But then yet another challenge came, whereby observations came onto our regulatory authority, which was the Civil Aviation Authority. And the observation was that the licenses which were being issued, they were suspected. Now, this was, I think, the worst challenge which I had to face, because my European routes were blocked. My interline and agreements, code-share agreements were at stake. So what I did, first of all, I told myself that, look, we have to manage this thing, we have to come out of this crisis, and we have to face it with reality. So what I did, that I stayed away, whatever names or whatever data was shared, I took it, okay, it is all right. And I grounded all those pilots who were being suspected. But thereafter, I started to work. I already had the data. I formed a central cell under my direct supervision, and we challenged those names and those data. And Allah was very kind again, that we were able to prove that it is not all PIA pilots or majority of PIA pilots who had the suspicious licenses. It was only handful of people. And then I also proved that it is not PIA which is at fault. It is the regulatory authority whose matters have to be resolved and have to be brought up to the better standards.
When do you expect they allow Pakistani airline to fly back in Europe?
Well, as I said, that we sorted out our in-house affairs, and we brought safety and quality team under my control. I requested my chief of the air staff, and I got an Air Vice Marshal to look after the safety aspect. And the first thing which we did was that after doing all these systems, we presented ourselves to our own Pakistan Civil Aviation. Thereafter, the international auditors came, which were called IOSA audit, and we were very fortunate that through the hard work of my team, we were able to clear and cross that hurdle, and IOSA cleared us with outstanding remarks. You will be glad to know that very recently the ICAO audit has also been conducted, and although the formal information has not been shared with us, but we are very, very positive that the indications are positive, and I think that by next year, first quarter, we should be able to fly out our wings to the Europe, and the ban should be airlifted.
I was given a tour of the company, and I met up with the Chief Commercial Officer, Ali Qasim, and he talked about the future, the fleet strategy of PIA. There will be only 2 types of airplanes, and also the rationalization of the routes network, especially in Europe.
Our aim is that we should have a standardization of the fleet, because that reduces the cost. At the moment, we have 320s, and we plan to induct 320s more modern versions every year from 2022, like 16 aircrafts, total 6 new aircrafts in the year 2022, 10 older, and then every year about 5 to 7 aircrafts will be inducted. As regard wide bodies, our owned 777s and those which are not owned by us will be phased out by 2024, and inshallah from the year 2025 onward, we will be inducting the state-of-the-art wide body, may it be a 330 or may it be a 350 or a 777 LRs or a 787. We will evaluate that, but we'll ensure that we don't have a multi type of fleet. It will be a 2-type standardized narrow body and wide body for economies of the scale. We have learned to be very nimble with the cost, because as you understand, in the aviation industry, the yields has always been a challenge. The aviation industry is one of the industry where the yields have been dropping persistently and the cost has been increasing. So we have gone into a very stringent route diagnostic labs where we have diagnosed each and every route, and we decided to consolidate our network rather than expanding on the routes where we either used to have 1 flight or 2 flights a week. For example, in Europe, we used to have a mushroom of destinations whereby a single destination was not able to cater to operations of a wide-body aircraft. For example, Oslo and Copenhagen are 2 markets which are not very big markets, so we need to combine Oslo and Copenhagen. Similarly, in Barcelona and Milan, separately are not that big a market, so we need to combine them together. But when we take a dip, either at Oslo or at Milan, there's a cycle cost involved, and a wide body cycle cost is enormous. So all the profitability of the route goes off once there's a cycle dip. So what we have done now is we'll be choosing one single point, the most potential single point, which is not only from the commercial point of view, but geographically, which is in the center of the Europe, having a very convenient connections to the rest part of the Europe. And that would be probably the Paris, because the yields of that Paris market is better than the rest of the Europe. There's a large Pakistani community over there. And then we will be having the code shares and SPAs and commercial partnership with other airlines, whereby we will be providing them the easy connectivity to the rest of the Europe.
I think there's no doubt PIA has a lot of issues and challenges and to improve. One thing they did very well, I have to give them credit, is during the Kabul evacuation in Afghanistan. I think they were the only reliable carrier that were continuously operating and pulling out 5,000 to 7,000 people.
So Afghanistan, PIA's Afghanistan operation is one such thing that, a lot of people from outside Pakistan actually don't know about. And they think that, probably Pakistan is good with the new regime in Kabul. So it was very easy for PIA to actually operate into that area, which is so not true, because it was such a difficult operation, a challenging operation to manage, because when we started flying into Kabul, there was nothing on ground. There was no ATC coverage. There was nothing over there. Now at the airport was literally split between two sides. One side was with the new regime in Afghanistan, and the second side was with NATO. And both were facing off each other, and none of them were actually talking to each other. So that was a challenge, while landing into Kabul. Where do you actually go? Where do you get the passengers onto the airport? Especially considering the fact that the airport was swamped and there was so many people outside trying to get in, that it was a real challenge actually trying to figure out which people actually to carry, because you just didn't know. So at that time we were approached by a lot of NGOs, a lot of press agencies, and a lot of diplomatic corps to actually bring their people from Afghanistan. So PIA operated a flight of World Bank, and the whole flight was chartered. When I got a call from Reuters in Islamabad asking me if I could carry about 20 of their journalists stranded in Afghanistan. After that, my office was swamped in by all those international news agencies, from CNN, from BBC, from Al Jazeera, from AP, from Reuters, who had their people still stuck in Afghanistan. And a lot of people wanted to go in, and a lot more people actually wanted to come out. And I didn't have any solution to them. So what I did was I actually talked to my management and asked them if they could lend me a plane. And they said that they are only allowing charter flights. So I gathered all the journalists around, and we pooled in money, and I chartered the plane from PIA myself. Then everyone knew that there's a guy in Islamabad who's actually getting people out. So my number was circulated around all the diplomatic channels in Islamabad, even in Afghanistan. And I was getting called day ends, day and night. Even at the middle of the night, people would call me, asking me, begging me to somehow, get them out. And the challenge was that, a lot of people didn't even have passports. A lot of people actually didn't have any travel document on how to, get out of Afghanistan. Managing those permissions of flying in an area where there was technically no law, no real aviation rules or regulations being implemented. So it was quite frankly a challenge. So after 6th or 7th flight, I actually was tired, and I said, I think I've helped enough people, so I think let's call it a day. But then there was a story of a girl. Her name was Khatira Afzali, and she or her husband was trying to kill her. And she was hiding with her 3 children at her mother's place, and the husband, the abusive husband, actually went and joined the Taliban. And then he brought some thugs to her parents' house and asked for Khatira to be handed over to him. And the parents said that she has already left the country. And he warned that he would come back again in 2 days' time, and if they don't do that, then he would kill her. And that was a story that really shook me. And I actually had to make extra efforts. I actually had to talk to 10 different people. We actually spoke to one of the ambassadors in Pakistan, and we actually got her travel documents, her passports, and we uplifted her. And when she arrived, she immediately obviously kissed the ground because she thought that she was safe and she has been taken out. But while she was exiting the airport, she got a call from her house telling that, her husband has killed her brother instead. So that was a story that, really shook me to the core, and I said that, this is a serious situation. This is not a commercial venture that PIA is doing. We are actually helping people. And, that motivated me to run another 7-8 flights. And so far, I think we have taken out about 5,000 to 6,000 people out of Afghanistan on our special flights.
My adventure to Pakistan doesn't stop here. Next week, I'm going to take you guys together on board PIA. Let's fly to the northern area, Skardu, discover the amazing scenery and also the exciting flying together.
We'll make this turn right like this, and then left, and then again over here, and this is where our runway is going to be. Sam, welcome to Skardu. The elevation here is 7,316 feet.
This is Shangri-La. They took me here. It's unreal. The water is so clear. It's beautiful. Everyone's wearing so colorful, lining up with such amazing backdrop. And this is where it gives me the energy to travel, seeing the world, enjoying aviation.